If you are listening to this, it is not a coincidence. This message is finding you because your soul asked for it, because something inside you already knew before your ears listened to it. Tomorrow, August 7th, a cosmic portal opens that will not only alter the sky, but also your most intimate frequency. The moon slides towards Aquarius, and with that simple but powerful movement, a sequence of transformations that you cannot ignore is activated. This is not a more astrological event. It is a call, an echo of the universe awakening your ancestral memory. And if you are feeling pressure on the chest, dizziness, emotional disconnection, or difficulty sleeping, pay attention. Those are symptoms of an imminent quantum jump. The moon meets Pluto, the lord of the shadow, and together they unleash a deep cleaning process, one that restructures your mind, shakes your energy DNA, and begins to free everything that no longer vibrates with your high path. You are likely to feel that you are on the verge of something, and it is because you are. A part of you is ready to die symbolically, so that another version of your most authentic being emerges from the ashes of conditioning. This transit is spiritual surgery, and if you have felt that you observe your life from the outside, as if it were changing in slow motion, you are not alone. It is part of the recalibration. Most will live these days as chaos, confusion, and emotional disorder, but you are not the majority. If you are here, it is because you are being prepared. The universe chose you to receive this truth. There is no turning back. Comment 777 if you are feeling this energy, if you know that something inside you is waking up. This message is only for those who are ready to remember who they really are. The frequency is rising, and now, more than ever, it is time to align with your true destiny. During this 3-day window, from August 7 to 9, you will cross such an intense, so specific energy field that it will not allow you to stay asleep. The moon in Aquarius brings an electric vibration that does not feel with the body, feels with the soul. And if it costs you to sleep, if you dream strange things, if you feel a subtle but constant pressure in the chest, it is because your system is being calibrated to a new frequency. This is not a superficial emotional change. It is a complete redesign of your internal programming. Pluto, when meeting the moon, does not negotiate. It goes straight to the roots, to everything that was installed in you without your conscious consent. And if you feel that you look at your life as if it were a movie, dislocated, distant, confused, it is because you are being prepared. You are being prepared to see with surgical clarity what you could not face before. This energy is a mirror that does not distort, which does not disguise. If you allow it, it will show you what you have been acting in autopilot. Inherited beliefs, collective fears, other people's wishes. And here is the warning. If you resist, if you try to keep your routines as if nothing happens, you will feel that the world comes over you. But it is not the world that falls, it is your old self who can no longer support. This transit is not destroying your life. It is destroying the illusions that maintained it static. It is no longer about understanding it with the mind. It is about surrendering to the process. Because what is at stake is not a small improvement. It is a change of timeline. The destiny that you are about to inhabit is different. It has no room for fear, complacency, or repetition. You have to empty to be rewritten, because what is coming is much larger than your previous version could sustain. Tomorrow, when the moon crossed the threshold towards Aquarius, something will change inside you even if you cannot explain it with words. It is as if a new frequency began to be transmitted from the center of the direct universe to your conscience. Suddenly, you will look at your emotions with an unknown distance, as if your soul need to pause to observe what he has been feeling without being dragged by it. That emotional disconnection that many are going to misunderstand as coldness is, in fact, a higher form of perception. The universe is giving you emotional objectivity, and that is spiritual gold in times of transformation, because only from that state you can see what dominated you before. You are going to realize patterns that seemed normal before but now they are revealed as soft prisons disguised as routine. You will see people, situations, and emotions from another angle, and that clarity will hurt, but it will also heal, because there is no awakening without discomfort. And what this moon offers you is the ability to look at your shadow without being devoured. Are you ready to stop reacting and start responding? Because your release begins. That conversation that used to be trembling now becomes a map. That memory that persecuted you now is a track. And that old man who cried for understanding now begins to understand himself. Pluto conjunction is not a technical detail. It is an internal power activation. And if you feel a sudden impulse of introspection, if your mind is making connections at unexpected speed, don't ignore it. You are accessing a level of consciousness that you could not sustain before. This is not a casual process. It is energy engineering. And every symptom, every awkward thought, every feeling of being on the edge are signs that your soul is waking up to its own truth. As this energy unfolds in your field, you will notice something even more powerful. Your mind begins to operate from another level, as if a new layer of perception was activated that allows you to see internal structures that were before hidden. You will find yourself remembering wounds that you had already forgotten, recognizing patterns that you thought over, identifying voices that are not yours, but that for years spoke as if they were. It is possible that you feel an almost obsessive desire to understand you, to investigate your own emotional history, to break down every choice you took and ask if you really chose it, or if it was a conditioned response for fear, culture, or family loyalty. This impulse is not a whim. It is your soul claiming sovereignty. It is Pluto's call, cleaning your subconscious to leave space for a new timeline. And yes, it may hurt. You may at first feel like a soft psychosis, as a mental discomfort that you do not know how to translate. But in reality, what is happening is that you are stopping to lie to you. That feeling of pressure in the head, that fatigue that does not leave, that urgency of being alone, all that is part of the process. Your system is being reset. You are downloading information directly from higher plans of consciousness, and your body is trying to integrate it. This is not another week. It is a turning point. And the more space you do to observe without reacting, more clarity you will receive. Most will not understand. Most will look for distractions, noise, external validation. But no, you already know that this is not about surviving. It's about waking up. And you are feeling that truth in each cell, even if you still don't know what to do with it. Don't worry, you're not lost. You're being redirected. While this conjunction between Lunar and Pluto descends on your energy field, something even deeper begins to happen. A conditioning of conditioning that has been operating in silence begins, but determining every decision you made so far. It is as if an invisible hand began to tear off all those beliefs that you absorbed without realizing. All those voices that told you how you should be, who should you love, what was success, what was failure, what was correct or incorrect for you. And if you suddenly feel in discomfort that you cannot explain, if it is difficult for you to identify who you are without all those roles, it is because you are facing an ancestral truth. Many of your ideas do not belong to you. They were installed in your system before your soul could have your own voice. This transit is not just a lighting, it is spiritual surgery. He is extracting what is not yours so that you can finally remember what it is. Ideas that before you defended with certainty now feel alien. Opinions you used as a shield now collapse. And in that apparent emptiness begins to emerge your authentic voice. This is the most delicate stage of awakening, when you realize that what you thought you were never you. And here is where many scare, retract, cling to the known. But no, you feel that there is something beyond fear, something that calls you from the future, a vibration that you still cannot define, but that is familiar to you. That is your original frequency remembering you. And although now it hurts, although you cannot put it in words, I knew this. Every uncomfortable thought, every internal rupture, every discomfort in your mind or your body is a sign that something that was not authentic is releasing its control. The old is falling not because you are collapsing, but because you are finally waking up. During these next few days, you will begin to notice an unexpected change in the way you perceive your relationships. It will not be obvious or necessarily dramatic, but deeply revealing. Suddenly, you will feel that some people no longer fit, as if they spoke a language that your soul no longer recognizes. And it is not trial, it is discernment. The opposition between the sun in Leo and the moon in Aquarius will generate a sacred tension between your need to express yourself authentically and your role within the collective. This cosmic strip and loosen will illuminate links that you held by custom, for fear or for the idea that you had to belong to certain groups. Now, you are going to see with new eyes. Some connections will become more alive, more electric, full of possibilities. They are resonant souls, part of your true spiritual community. Others, on the other hand, will feel cold, distant, as if there were an invisible veil separating you from them. And although at first that can hurt, it is not a punishment, it is a sign. The universe is telling you clearly, your vibration changed, and not everyone can accompany you in this new frequency. It is not about cutting ties with anger, but about honoring cycles. Not all souls that accompanied you in the past are destined to walk with you to the future. Some will stay behind, and that's fine. This transit not only reveals the truth about your links, it is emphasizing them. You will feel a strong impulse to protect your energy, to retire a little, to observe. Do it, because in that silence, in that pause, it is revealed who really nourishes you, who expands to you, who celebrates your light without asking you to go down. This process is not rejection, it is alignment. And if you suddenly feel alone, I understood this. You are being prepared to find you who vibrate in your true frequency of the soul. And while old ways of relating, something even more subtle but deeply powerful, begins to wake up inside you, your intuition. But this time not like a soft whisper or a vague heart, but as a clear, direct, almost electric force. The moon in Aquarius does not activate emotional intuition, but cosmic. That superior intelligence that comes in the form of sudden ideas, truths that are installed without prior notice, visions that shake you and know, without doubts, that come from a higher place. You may be doing something every day, and suddenly a thought appears, clear, revealing, like a download. It is no more thought, it is a message. And if you think you are receiving too much information, if your mind feels overstimulated, if dreams become intense, or wake up with strange phrases floating in your head, you are not crazy, you are channeling. This portal is connecting to you with an energy network that transcends linear time. What you are feeling is not imagination, it is memory. It is your superior self crossing the veil to deliver instructions, remind you of roots, activate codes. And if you see 1111, 777, if you listen to repeated songs or phrases that are repeated in synchrony, pay attention. The universe is talking, and now more than ever, you can listen. Write, meditate, observe. Because what seems irrelevant could be the key to unlocking a sleeping part of your path. These are not only intense days, they are sacred days. And if you make internal silence, you will notice that your soul already knows what you need to do. Don't look for answers outside, not now. Because what is being awakened in you is an ancestral wisdom that does not need translation. It only needs space to be heard. But before this wisdom can manifest itself in its purest form, there is something crucial that you have to do. Anchor. Yes, connect to ground. Because this Aquarian energy that is coming is neither soft nor linear, is electric, expansive, as a ray through your mental centers. And if your body is not prepared, if your energy field is saturated, which should feel as lighting will feel as anxiety, insomnia, accelerated thoughts, or even a difficult emotional overload to process, This frequency is not designed for you to understand from logic, but for the channels from the center. And for that, you have to be present in your body. Hydrate, eat. I slept well. I reduced stimuli. Turn off the notifications. Rest from the screens. Silence that digital noise that interferes with the downloads that are ready to get to you. Because Aquarius governs technology, but also invites you to look beyond it, to reconnect with the natural rhythms that your soul needs to integrate what is yet to come. And Pluto, with its invisible intensity, amplifies everything. The bright and the dark, the real and the illusory. These days, even what it seems every day could be loaded with deep symbolism. Therefore, your environment matters, your energy matters, and your approach matters. This is not another week to continue as if nothing happened. It is a time to create sacred space, to go still, so that this energy update can be installed without collapsing your system. If you feel that something moves inside you, that there is a vibrant pressure in the body, or a mind in hyperactive mode, do not ignore it. It is a sign that the energy field is open, and you are in the middle of the process. Do not distract yourself. Do not anesthesize. What is coming can only be received by those who are ready to sustain a higher frequency, and that preparation starts now. And here comes something that very few understand. The most powerful moments of this portal will not feel like an explosion. They are not going to scream. They will not announce. They will arrive in the silences, in the spaces between thoughts, in that pause between one breathing and another. Because the real change does not occur during the peak of the event, but in integration. The soul is not transformed into the impact, but what it does with that energy later. And that's why it is so essential that you open to silence, not doing, simply being. Because your mind will be reorganizing in the background, digesting visions, restructuring beliefs, ordering new timelines that you still cannot see, but you are already feeling. And if you do not respect that process, if you fill every minute of noise, activity, or demand, you could find yourself collapsed under an energy overload that you cannot explain. Because it's not just about what happens outside. This is what wakes up inside. This transit is cleaning the spaces where distraction was previously inhabited, and that can feel like a vacuum. But that void is not lack, it is preparation. It is the energy matrix where your next stage will be sown. Therefore, pay attention to those seemingly meaningless moments. A non-direction walk, a song that shuds you without reason, a tear that appears without logical explanation. They are flashes of integration. They are micro-portals that open so that the soul processes what the mind cannot sustain yet. It makes room for them. It makes room for you. Because if you honor this stillness as part of the ritual, what you will receive in return is such a pure clarity that it will reorganize the way you think, feel, and decide. And in that clarity, you will find more than answers. You will find direction. And when you start seeing with new eyes, something that was previously asleep in you will begin to move, your hidden genius. That potential that does not come from the intellect learned, but from a code that lives in the depths of your energy DNA, waiting for the exact moment to be activated. And that moment is now. Aquarius is the sign of the visionary, of the innovative, of the soul that does not fit because it came to create what does not yet exist. If you are feeling the call to explore new ideas, if you are investigating issues that you previously ignored, if you are attracted to knowledge that seemed to have no immediate logic, but that ignites you inside, do not hesitate. You are receiving the call from your highest purpose. This energy is not interested in repeating formulas. She is interested in remembering your uniqueness. Ideas that seemed too crazy before, too different, too advanced. Now they begin to feel necessary. And it is no accident. It is your soul telling you, this is what you came to offer. Because your contribution is not optional, it is part of the major plan. The universe needs you to activate that spark that you only have. And that is why During these days, you can feel an internal urgency to learn, to create, to express yourself without filters. That energy does not come from the mind, it comes from the soul. And the more you listen to it, the more doors they are going to open. You will start seeing connections between things that seemed unconnected before. You are going to join points, see patterns, download solutions. You are remembering your ability to innovate, to be a channel of new frequencies that still do not exist in the physical world. And if something feels challenging but deeply correct, do not discard it. It is your mission playing the door. You just have to encourage you to open. And when that door opens, because it will do it, you will not be able to close it again. Because once the inner genius is activated, once the soul remembers its original design, everything that seemed enough begins to feel small, and that can be scary. You are going to look at your life, your decisions, even your achievements, and something within you will whisper, "This no longer represents me." Not because it is wrong, but because it no longer vibrates with the new identity that is emerging from within. This stage of traffic is not comfortable. It is expansive. It is that moment when the cocoon breaks and the butterfly cannot go back. Discomfort is not a sign of error. It is proof of growth. And while your mind tries to understand what your soul already knows, you can feel an uncontrollable impulse to change things, habits, environments, conversations, to the way you use your words. All of that is part of energy reconfiguration. You are not becoming unstable, you are becoming authentic, because now you see what you previously ignored, that many of your choices came from fear of rejection and not from genuine desire, that many of your goals were social programming and not called true. And once you see that, you can't see it anymore. That is the magic and the challenge of this portal. It does not allow you to continue pretending. It does not let you return to the numb version of yourself. What was previously comfort zone now becomes an incoherence zone, and what gave you security now begins to weigh. This is the signal, this is the time. Because when what sustained you before it begins to feel like a jail, it is because you are ready to fly. And although the jump seems uncertain, the floor that will hold you is already being prepared for your highest frequency. And when the portal begins to close on August 9th, with the full moon in Aquarius reaching its maximum point, do not take it as an end. Take it as the real start of your transformation. What was downloaded during these 3 days was not only information, it was reprogramming. They did not come to give you ideas, they came to install new maps. Maps that are now latent within you, waiting for you to make the necessary decisions to turn them on. And here is where many fail. They confuse clarity with a passenger moment, as if everything lived were just a fleeting inspiration. But what happened was not temporary. It was a vision of your highest timeline. And now you have to choose if you are going to walk towards her or if you are going to continue repeating the known. The energy will not press you, but it will demand honesty, because you already saw what does not work. You already felt what does not vibrate. You already realized what you cannot keep holding. And you can't unblust. You can't disregard. The universe put in front of you a mirror without filters, a version of your life that is aligned with your deepest truth. And it's not about creating it from scratch. It's about dropping everything that is blocking it. Therefore, in the days after this transit, you will have to be attentive. You will feel the temptation to go back, to justify the unjustifiable, to rationalize the misalignment. But if you do, you will experience an internal pull so strong that you will not be able to ignore it. Because your energy has already changed, and every decision you make from now will expand or contract that new frequency. There is no neutral point. You choose with each thought, with each word, with each act, and that choice will mark your way for the coming months. In the coming weeks, you will have precise opportunities to apply everything that was revealed during this portal. They will not be random evidence. They will be living activations. choice points designed by your soul to check if you are ready to sustain the new consciousness that woke up in you. You will notice that certain situations are repeated, but this time with clarity that you did not have before. Conversations, links, decisions. Everyone returns, but not to drag you to the past, but to see if you can answer from your high version. And there is the true alchemy, not to change everything suddenly, but to respond differently. Because magic does not happen external first, but in your internal choice. You are no longer the same person who initiated this transit. Something in you expanded, and now the universe asks you for coherence. The relationships you used to tolerate will feel suffocating. The activities that were excited before could feel empty. Even your routines, your smallest habits, could start making noise. Do not take it as confusion. Take it as a sign. You are emphasizing your external reality to align with the new operating system that was installed inside. And you don't need to know all the steps. You just need to respond differently, choose more true, act from authenticity instead of fear. You will notice how your energy begins to attract new synchronies, new people, new ideas. And although at first everything seems uncertain, trust. What is being armed in the subtle plane is much larger than what your mind can understand now. The quantum field is already responding to your new vibration. The timelines are moving. The doors are adjusting to your frequency. And now everything depends on one thing, your ability to walk with faith where there was only conditioning before. That is true freedom. And now that everything has been said, breathe. He closed his eyes. I felt, this is not just the end of a message. It is the integration of a truth that your soul was waiting for lives. You are no longer the same. Something in your field changed, and although your mind still tries to understand it, your spirit already recognizes it. You are crossing a sacred threshold, invisible to the world, but deeply real for your conscience. And at that cross, you don't wear old luggage. You can't. There is no space for masks, for characters, for those old wounds you used as identity. The only thing that can accompany you now is your light, that you had forgotten, the one you had hidden, that which the universe has just refounded inside you. This portal was an activation, yes, but also a choice. Because you can resist or you can give up. You can continue fighting to hold what he no longer vibrates. Or you can trust what is not yet seen, but he already feels destined. This path is not linear, neither predictable nor comfortable. It is sacred. And every step that you have now to be an affirmation of who you really are, not what the world expects, but from what your soul came to embody. You are being called to remember, to embody, to vibrate from your most essential truth. And although I can scare, that fear is only the echo of the self that is dissolving. The new does not hurt. What hurts is the attachment to the old. So I chose to trust. I chose to expand. I chose to hold the frequency that this portal has given you, because once the soul remembers, he can no longer forget. And you already remembered. So walk from your center, from your truth, from your light. And if you ever doubt, look in. Everything you need is already activated within you. He closed his eyes. I smiled. The trip just begins.